Welcome into our reading for this week. I am T from Tiny Divinations, here to break down the cards with you. So, we have three different piles and three different charms. Pick the pile or charm that you are drawn to, and I will see you in your reading. Welcome in, pile one. Let's get into your cards. So, the charm that you have is an angel or a fairy. Whichever you see, let me know in the comments what you think it is. Then we have the Ace of Pots, the Page of Coins, the Knight of Knives, and the Ashe card, which is the Magician in this deck. The energy of this week with these cards feels like you're forging ahead. It feels like you're trying different things. It feels like it's definitely going to be a fulfilling week for you. It's a week where you're positive, you're more optimistic than you may have normally been. You're feeling good about things that are happening or that are coming. It feels like there's a way that your brain is like firing on all cylinders. You're making plans, you're thinking about what you want to do, you're trying different things. Like I said, this is a magician card in a normal deck, so you'd have all the tools in front of you, and so you'd be like using all the tools at your disposal, using your skills, trying different things. Ashe literally means so it is, so it's like the action of doing something, trying something, you know what I mean, having something get done. So it feels like there is, like I said, just um, a lot of good energy this week. It feels like there's a lot of movement. There's a lot that you want to get done. There's a lot that you're trying to do. There's a lot that you're trying, and just in general. Like I said, you feel optimistic about what you're doing or what's to come or what's happening. You're walking into shit with a good attitude. It also feels like with the Knight of Knives that, like I said, your brain, you're really like planning or trying things or trying to figure shit out, and you're more in a position to do it, or you feel more confident in doing it. You're more aggressive about what you want to do this week, and about like, sorry, my dog turned on the Spanish news and I lost my train of thought. It feels like there's also money on people's minds this week because we have the page of coins card. So we're thinking about how we can start bringing in money, or we may get a message about our money. Or you're thinking about how to start implementing something that can bring you more, like thinking about a side business or something like that this week may also be a thing, or like putting a bet to get a little bit of money back or something like that. Also, with this Knight of Knives card, because I said, like I said, in terms of your thoughts and your planning, and like you're just going to be like kind of firing on all cylinders, you're going to be like a little bit more aggressive in your thoughts and your planning and your actions and what you want to do, and like what you think. And so be mindful of maybe coming off too aggressive in some cases, saying things too aggressively in terms of tone, or like, you know, being so like amped or excited about something that it like comes off in a different way, or that you may like disregard something somebody else has to say because you're so into what you're doing. Like, just pay attention to things like that. So, like I said, with the ox and the machete that this person has, and the wand that this guy has in his hand, there's definitely work being done this week. You're definitely getting shit done. You're definitely thinking about what you want to get done, what to do, planning, what to take down next, what to motion towards next, what to like aim at. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm getting from these cards in terms of the energy of your week. Let's get a little bit more about the energy for this week. To get more into the energy of this week, we are going to pull some charms. This is my charm bowl. I'm going to shake it a little bit. Okay, I am not looking. I'm going to pull something. Okay. So our original charm was the angel. We then have a gargoyle over a rose, or a cat angel over a rose, depending on how you see it. Tell me how you see it in the comments. We have a watermelon. We have the Libra charm, charming. We have a spider web, a music note, a dragon charm, and a spoke or a wheel. Okay. Okay, so we have the dragon, the gargoyle, and the angel fairy. And so this is all giving very like magical energy, very whimsy. So, like I said to you before, it definitely feels like there is an ease to your week. It feels almost like you could feel like you're in like a story, or like you're like the main character of your own movie. It feels like you see like little bits of magic this week. It feels like you feel that energy within your week. Like it's just all three of these things coming out with these charms is no coincidence, right? You also had the charming with the Libra charm on the other side. So, like I said, I feel like you feel good this week. I feel like the things that happen this week are flowing for you. I feel like you may be charming, or may have a charming energy, or energy that like brings people in or eases people or allows people to want to do things for you, or like I said, draws people in. The Libra also gives the energy of collaboration, and like working in partnership, or being mindful of others, how they think, how they're feeling, what, if you have to work with them, what their ideas are, and making sure you're, adding in everybody that has to be a part of something or something like that. So that's part of what was coming up for me with the Libra. Also with the dragon and the gargoyle, there's this energy also of protection. So again, like I said, with the Knight of Knives, be mindful of being over aggressive and like going on people with the dragon, but be mindful of protecting yourself, protecting your ideas, protecting your boundaries, um, protecting your spaces. You know what I mean? If you haven't done protection work in a while, you may want to do some protection work this week. If you're being called to it, you also have that spider there. So that may be part of it. But like, just be mindful of that. The spider next to the wheel, the spider was giving me like making a web, doing something, making something come together. And then you have the wheel. So like I said, there's this energy this week of you like working towards things, you getting things done, you like moving along, you starting to see something shape up, or like starting to like plan on something, or like cast your web out, you know what I mean? Cast feelers out to get some shit started, you know what I mean? To get something started, get something going, continue it going, like to keep it going, something like that. So like these two together definitely bring that kind of energy. With the watermelon, it's a slice of watermelon. And so it made me think of like a slice of something larger. So I feel like there are some people that are definitely working on something that is a piece of something that's bigger, or like you're working on an aspect of something that has to do with something larger, and you're getting it moving this week. You're definitely like sinking your teeth into it. You're like deep into what you're doing. And it's like I said, whatever you're doing is adding to, or like a part of another piece of something. You know what I mean? Something, a larger aspect of something, or you're planning, or you're looking into a part of something that would be, like I said, an aspect of something bigger, or a piece of a bigger plan, or something like that. So that's what I'm getting from that. And then you have this music note. And the music note, like I said before, in terms of the ease for your week, I feel like there's like this relative flow. The music note I saw in my head, like just these notes kind of like bouncing along the page. And it's like, like I said, it just feels like very easy, very sing-songy, a little whimsical for some people. It feels like things will flow. It feels like how you feel when you're singing a song that you really like. You know what I mean? It just feels good. And I feel like that's kind of the energy overall that you'll feel this week. So this is what I'm getting for the energy of your week. Let's move into some specific things that may happen this week. For the specific things that may happen this week, I'm going to use the numerology guidance cards. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay. And I'm just going to get a few more clarifiers. All right. So we have the completion card, nature, intuition, abundance, the high priestess, the lovers, the eight of wands, the sun, and the knight of cups. In terms of specific things that'll be happening this week, that could be happening this week, we have the completion card. And so, like I said, there are people working on projects trying to get things done. You even have the high priestess that has a computer, the eight of wands on the motorcycle, you have things going. So, like, there are people working through things. You may be on the verge of completing whatever you're going to do. You're definitely going to have the mental bandwidth to be able to do it. Listen to your intuition because you have the intuition card and the high priestess. So this week there's specific times where you definitely need to believe yourself, listen to yourself, pay attention to your inner guidance, to your inner voice, to what you're being told. Actually follow it. You may not normally follow that voice, but like listen and do this week. Okay, you don't have to know the reason why, just know you got it for a reason. So move in kind. Okay, especially because like I said, you have both of these cards. So there's, like I said, projects ending this week, um, like situations ending this week. It doesn't necessarily feel like breakup energy. It just feels like we're just like finishing something, handing something in, getting um, like, you know, to the end of something. And it could be those things that we were talking about before that people are like, head to the grindstone to do or to get done, you know, or you may like find an answer this week that again pushes you to the next thing, because like we had the watermelon slice, there's like pieces of things that people are working on that could lead you to something else. So it could be something where you had to finish one part of something to get to the next thing, or like you know, find out about something, or get something done, pay for something, take something, something like that, to then move on to whatever the next stage is. So that's part of what specifically could come up this week. Like I said, we had the intuition and the high priestess. So pay attention to your guides. You have this computer. So it could be definitely like having your intuitive hat on while you're at work, while you're at school, while you're working on tasks, while you're doing data entry, while you're doing some kind of like strategy or taking notes, or like in a meeting, or meeting with other people or something like that. There's the veil behind her. So there may be information that you don't completely know. Work with what you have this week, right? Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt what you're doing. Don't go off of things that you don't have, right? Unless there's an intuitive notion that tells you to do so, you know? Um, that was a little specific, but I hope that makes sense. We also, like I said, with the eight of wands, there may be things thrown at you this week, right? So like it feels like people are moving along, you're getting shit done. There may be things thrown at you, but again, don't worry about it. You had that the Ashe card in the last in the energy. You had the Knight of Knives in the energy. So you're fully capable this week of being able to handle whatever's thrown at you, whatever it comes your way, whether you expect it or you didn't expect it. Okay, whether it may be like a little bit more than you normally take care of or not, you're definitely able to handle any curveballs or any extra or anything that seems a little like outside of your comfort zone this week. Be mindful of that because again, you had the Ace of Pots before, and then you have the Sun card here. And so again, it just feels like you're not only capable, you should be confident with yourself. You should hear yourself and believe yourself. Know that there's ease this week. You also have these two cards with these horses, right? So neither one of these horses look like they're going necessarily very fast. It doesn't seem like they're like sprinting along. They're like kind of trotting along. So to me, that number one, there's motion and there's action and there's things happening and moving, but it feels like it's at a good speed. It feels like it's a comfortable place. It's a comfortable speed, right? So like that's also specific to your week. Like I said before, it just feels like you're cruising along. It feels like things are flowing, things are working out for you, and that you're just moving through whatever it is that you have coming to you. The Lover's card and the Knight of Cups, you see she has like the cup in her hand. It made me think of this week being a week where you can have like real balance within yourself or real understanding with certain things. It was almost like seeing things from a different perspective about yourself and seeing it more like, oh, okay, like I do that, or like I think this, or, and like holding it and being able to see it and recognize it and like move through it, or like have something happen that you might normally react in a different way and be able to just recognize what is, how you feel, how you might have reacted, and like redirect almost. Like I said, especially if you take heed to the knives card, the Knight of Knives card that we talked about, where you might have, a little bit more of an aggressive attitude if, you're kind of just really focused or like into what you're doing. If you're mindful of this, for the people that would be in that space, again, you can redirect if you take, heed of this advice. Because it just feels like with the Lovers and the Knight of Cups, there's just this energy of being able to like be in tune with yourself, be in tune with others, be in tune with the emotion of yourself and others, and then like know what to do as a result of that understanding. You have the abundance card at the end. And so, like I said, with the Ace of Pots, there may be people that get like more this week. You may have money come in. You may have opportunities come. You may have a job call. You may have, somebody that has something that can, like bring you more. You know what I mean? You may receive like an extra check or a bonus. Somebody may buy you something. You may receive a surprise gift. Like that's a little bit of the energy that I feel comes with the abundance card. Again, you have the sun card. So it feels like things are going your way. Like it just feels like this is a good week energetically for you. So I really hope that like y'all feel that and y'all come back and tell me that that's exactly how this week feels. So this is what I'm getting for the specific things that may happen this week. Let's end your reading with some words of wisdom. My apologies, y'all. Before we move on, I forgot to talk about the nature card. You actually have all of these cards. Every single one of these cards are outside. Like everybody in these cards are outside, and then you have the nature card. So there's definitely some aspect of nature, of being outside, of incorporating outside that comes into your week. They are all out. So I feel like even though like where I am it's cold, I don't know, everybody's everywhere, but it feels like even if it is cold, you are going to be like maybe running around this week or outside or moving or doing things outside. There are some people that need to connect with outside, like go outside, take a walk, stand outside for a second. If you need to rebalance yourself, like we talked about before, go outside, take a walk, take a breath, take a second. If it is cold, sometimes that shock of the cold can like bring you back into yourself and help you, realign and then move forward in whatever way you feel best able to, as opposed to just being able to or being like wanting to react to something as opposed to being able to like respond in a way that you would rather respond to, you know, because sometimes the way we react is not exactly the way we want to. It's the way, you know, we're trained, or the way that we are, you know, um like wired, or you know, like there, it's just how it happens, you know, but it's not necessarily always the way we want to react to something. So adding in nature, and when I say add in nature, if you can't get outside, adding in nature looks like adding in you know, like the YouTubes where you have the beach in the background, or like watching Planet Earth, or like, you know, like finding some aspect of nature that you're interested in, and then like incorporating that somehow into your week, right? But like I said, these are specific, what we're talking about is specific things that may happen. So it just feels like people may be outside, people may need to be outside, people may need to be tending to their plants, or like in your house, outside the house, connecting with plants, trees, you know, things like that. But like the nature element, like I said, every single one of these cards, everybody in all of these cards is outside. So it feels like people are moving, you know, moving around outside, being outside, doing things outside, or needing to incorporate the environment. You also have the Eight of Wands, and then these two cards on horses. So you have that movement, you know. So, like I said, not only is there movement within your week, there may be literal movement where you're doing things, traveling, going somewhere, you know, outside, and, you know, out and about. So that's what I just wanted to share with y'all. Now we can move into the words of wisdom. Our words of wisdom come from the Universe Has Your Back card. Okay. We had these two cards fall out. When I lean on certainty and faith, I change my mind about the world I see. And then I honor how I want to feel. And I feel like somebody might want to see the card that's on the bottom. Okay. So these are your words of wisdom, y'all. And this was your reading for the week. So thank you so much for reading with me. I appreciate y'all so much. Let me know how your week is. Let me know what's going on, how this resonates, how you feel. If you'd like your own personal reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. If you aren't already subscribed to the Substack, subscribe to the Substack so you can get our podcast for the month, our Tiny Collective. There are two parts. You can listen to that on Substack or on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you aren't following the channel, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Tiny Divinations. And yeah, thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all being here. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, thank you again, and I will see you in your next reading. Welcome in pile 2. Let's get into your cards. So, starting with your charm, you have a Hamsa with an evil eye in the middle. And then you have the 8 of Staffs, the Life card, or the Fool, the 4 of Knives, the 5 of Knives, and the 2 of Coins. The energy of your week feels a little bit stalled. Starting with the first two cards, it feels like you definitely want things to move. You want more things to happen. You have the Fool card. This is the tree, like a tree, and it says life, but it's actually the Fool card in this deck. And so it's like you want to like be able to go off more a little bit, or to like um, have things grow, or to have things move, or you know, to have more things flourish, or like, you know, actionable energy in your week this week. But there's a lot of stalled energy in your week this week. There may be things that are stalled, there may be things that don't go through or don't work the way that you want them to. So it's like these are kind of giving this counter energy. For some people, part of why things aren't working right now or are stalled this week is because there's a need for you to stop and like rest and take a break. Or for some people, it's a need to regroup and like replan or like reconfigure shit. You know what I mean? And like I said, for other people, it's a need to like rest. For some people, it's a matter of timing. Like something isn't moving because it's not supposed to happen right now, because it's not supposed to be in general, because it's supposed to um, like get released or be phased out in some aspect, and you just don't recognize that or know that right now, or there was a random train whistle. But like these two things are giving that kind of energy too, or like it's not the right setup, like it's not the right setup, it's not the right situation, it's not the right person. Like if I put all three of these things together, you know what I mean, is kind of the energy that I'm getting from these. So like if there is things that are stalled, if it's like things are not moving as quickly as you want them to this week, or not moving in the way that you want them to this week, these are kind of the energies around why that may be. You have the two of coins, which, like I said, with these meant one thing, but like on its own, could definitely have to do with like relationship energy. It could have to do with and when I say relationship, I mean more like situational, than like person to person. So like things coming together, like I said, things not coming together the way that you want them to, or a situation not like this and this thing, that are supposed to come together to make something else or to make something work, not working, may be a part of that. Um, the two things also may um signify like I said, in terms of relationships, there being like differing opinions or differing energies, and that kind of causing friction or delaying things from happening. It may be like two conflicting ideas, or like two conflicting opinions, or people not seeing eye to eye, or just being stuck and not wanting to, like neither party kind of wanting to budge. So that could also be a part of this energy. So this is kind of what I'm getting from these cards in terms of the energy for the week. um let's pull some charms to get some more information about this week's energy. All right, y'all, so this is my charm bowl. I'm gonna shake the bowl a little bit. I'm not going to look as I pull. Okay. So we have the skull and the moon. Boss pendant. The sun. An airplane. And a pink moon. So starting with the moon and the skull and the Hamza, or the hand of Fatima, um, it seems to me that like some of this energy, or some of the things not going right or the way you want them to, or being stuck or whatever, if you feel like screaming, if you feel like breaking something, like do what you need to do to take care of yourself within reason. Okay, so like scream into a pillow, scream while you're in the car driving in traffic on the highway, so that like nobody calls the cops and thinks something's happening to you. Okay, break something that is old and you needed to get rid of anyway, and so you can break that shit at the, the garbage can or the dumpster or whatever the fuck. Like do it in within reason. Go to a rage room, you know what I mean? Sing something that like, is something where you would scream when you sing it, or like something super aggressive that helps you get it out, or like do kickboxing, or you know what I mean? Like work with what you're feeling this week. And if you feel like you have to release this energy or these emotions because you have these both of these moons here, so if you have like energy or emotions that you feel like you need to get out, write it down, get it out of your body, move it out of your body, sing it out of your body, scream it out of your body, um, do whatever you need to do to feel that protection and feel that like release and nurturing is what I'm getting from these three charms. Okay. I also feel nurturing from the Ubas charm and the pink moon. Bast is an Egyptian goddess. She's related to cat. She's related to mother. She's related to like a nurturing spirit. She's related to potions. She's someone or yeah, I would say someone that is like a protector, you know what I mean? So you have both of these protection charms and then both of these nurturing charms, so it just feels like protecting yourself, protecting your energy, protecting your space, doing things that feel comforting and nurturing to you this week to help you feel better about some of what's going on, to help you move through whatever you have going on this week, you know what I mean, to put you in a more positive space with the sun card, to make you feel more confident, to make you not my brain just said like relapse, but I don't literally mean relapse unless that is something specific to you. I almost mean like you've been like good in terms of like either not having anxiety or not having negative thoughts, or you like had a more you are having a more positive outlook or something like that, and it's like they don't want you to relapse into negativity or to like negative thinking or into starting to have anxiety or something like that. Like that's part of the comfort, the release, the protection energy that comes up. Then you have the airplane here, and the airplane is, you know, the airplane is travel, but like what I saw in my head when I saw the airplane is, you know how when you're on a flight, and you're just in the air, you don't see anything, there's no roads, there's no other airplanes, there's no buildings, there's nothing but you and the clouds until you get to, a space that's closer to your destination where you then, go a lower altitude and then you start to see things. But it's like that period in between, and the airplane made me feel like part of this week or part of the energy of this week is that period in between. It's that energy of like when you're in a plane and you can't see shit, but you know you're going somewhere. And in most cases, you know where the fuck you're going. You know what I mean? But like in life, you don't necessarily know where you're going, but you're going somewhere. And you're just in the clouds and you can't see anything right now, but you're on a ride, you're still moving, shit is still happening, even though it feels like it's not happening, or even though it may feel like it's not happening exactly the way you want it to, right? So we're in the clouds in a plane with some turbulence, um so that's kind of the energy that I get from this. Also, like I said, this is also making me think of the FAA, and there's been a multitude of motherfucking shit that has happened over the past couple months in terms of travel. And I don't mean like literally be mindful this week, because this is not specific events necessarily. I'm just saying in terms of the FAA and shit going wrong in the five, it's just given the same energy of like shit going wrong, you having to maneuver around things that go wrong this week, that could possibly go wrong or not work as it's supposed to, or is delayed, I heard recently that like if you're traveling to the Caribbean, as of when I'm recording this, um, because they're in the airspace, the military is in the airspace, people's flights may be delayed, and that's like on arrival and departure. So you could be teed up to go somewhere in the airport, not even at the place, and have to be sitting on the tarmac for hours because they're using the airspace and they don't know that's not, disclosed. So you kind of the FAA just said like the airlines are using caution, and people just have to be mindful, which is like some bullshit. But that's what that made me think of. So this is what I'm getting in terms of the energy for your week. Let's pull some cards to see more specific themes. Okay, so moving into some specific themes and things that may happen this week that you may be dealing with. Okay, we have environment. Oh, got some stuff that fell. Hold on. Okay, so we have domestic harmony. leadership. Let me see if there's anything else. Self-love and self-discipline. All right, and I'm just going to get a few clarifiers for a few. Okay. Okay. Move these down a little bit. So I'm going to start over here first. So we have leadership, self-love, self-discipline, right? And again, this is about specific things that we are dealing with this week or that may come up this week. So my first thought when I saw these three cards were don't fold, okay? No matter what happens this week, no matter what gets stalled, no matter what gets taken, no matter what's not working the way exactly you want it to, like don't fold, okay? Remember who you are. Remember like what you've done, and like just who you are. Like it's just like remember who you are. You know what I mean? And then move in kind, do the things that you can do what's available to you, of course, and remind yourself of that, okay? Don't get into places and spaces where it feels like you could kind of like not fold, but like it feels like you can kind of go in on yourself and like shrink yourself, or like get to woe is me's, or woe is me's, yeah. Or think of all the negatives, or like kind of pile on top of yourself, and you know make things worse, instead of taking what is, seeing it for what is, kind of taking some of the emotion out of it, and then like moving from a place of action, and like knowing that you can handle whatever's thrown at you, knowing that you can handle whatever situation you're in, believing that you can, you know what I mean? It's like built, like if there's a way that you need to like build yourself up, and there's a way that you need to like sit in like the best aspects of you, the most confident aspects of you, so that you don't kind of shrink yourself, that you don't like um you know go into a negative space, okay? So then you have domestic harmony, and the clarifier for domestic harmony is the Four of Cups and the World card. So it feels like there's some things that you might want to change in your house, in your space, where you are, where you feel comfortable. It feels like you may not feel comfortable there anymore, or you may not like the way that things are, or like I said, literally where you may live. Oh wait, there's like the ring on this. Let me move this up a little bit. Or literally where you are. It may also be that there is like some kind of imbalance or strife within your house this week. Things may come up where you're like kind of like having a little arguments or issues with someone, like if you live in a space with somebody else, or you're kind of like on top of each other, and you're feeling like you need more space, or you wish you could spread out more, or they are wishing they could spread out more, and you're kind of like rubbing on each other. That may be a thing that happens this week. So be mindful of that. It also may be that like if there is a little bit of tension or issues, there may be something that's going on somewhere else that's causing you like to feel that you're feeling emotional about that you may project onto somebody that you live with or the people that are closest to you. Like domestic harmony doesn't also have to be like within your house, but it could be somewhere where you are a lot. Like we work, you know what I mean? So if you are at work for a long period of time, then it is your space, you know what I mean? So it may be that you're in disharmony with people in your workspace, or that you're feeling like, um like a little bit like claustrophobic. You see these people all the time, you're kind of getting over them, or you just like want to get out of your workspace because there isn't domestic harmony there isn't camaraderie, people aren't working together, like you just kind of want to move on, or you're thinking about moving on or looking at something better or expanding, in some way. So that's kind of what I'm getting from these two cards in terms of the specific energies of how you feel. It also feels like a little bit let me just show you this because the light is fucking me up. It also feels a little bit disconnected. Like she literally has the phone over here, and it feels like I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want this. I don't want that. I'm just like in my own world kind of thing. And because I'm over things, I just don't want to be bothered. You know what I mean? And so that may also be how you feel. Especially if there's disharmony or you're feeling um, uncomfortable, or you're going back and forth with people, or you're just like wanting to be somewhere else, right? And then we have the environment card. So the clarifiers for the environment are the moon, the two of pentacles, and actually the eight of pentacles came before that, the eight of pentacles and the two of pentacles. So again, it feels like with work, with what you do, with how you make money, or something that you do consistently, or something that you do creatively, or that you may do for fun, it feels like that you want or need a change of environment, and or you're thinking about doing something differently with it or about it. Like some people may not be doing something creative, but you're ready to do something about it, but you're not exactly sure how to go about it, and that may be how it comes up this week. It may be that you need to change your environment, like either change how you're doing it, or change who you're doing it around, or find somewhere else to do it which makes you more comfortable, or find a class or like a group or community of people to do it with. Again, it feels like some people definitely want to change their work environment, and you just don't know how to do it, or you are looking for a new position, and you're like, it feels like there's this either need or this urge to move on, to find something else, to find a different position, to find something more sustainable, but you may not either have an idea of what to do, know how to do it, um, know where to go, know what you want to do. Like there's just this like energy of it being kind of up in the air, and not just because of the two of pentacles, but because you have like down this road, this dark cave, you don't know what's in there, you have this darkness behind it, you know what I mean? It's like this very much unknown ass energy, but there's this definite need and or urge to like do something else, find something else, get another something else that's like stable, or another source of income, or another gig, or like opportunity, or something like that. But there's like doubtful energy around some of that, so yeah, that's what I'm getting from that. If something does come up this week, check out everything that has to do with it, like as opposed to being scared. Weigh your options in a very mindful way and look into everything, so that you know everything that you're dealing with or doing or whatever, you know what I mean? Be especially when it comes to the environment, like where you would be, who you'd be with, what that would look like, if that works for you. If it doesn't work for you, don't bend, just because you feel like you need something. Don't take the first thing. Like if you get offered something this week around this, don't just take the first thing that comes. Like that's kind of the energy that I'm getting with that. So this is what I'm getting in terms of the specific things that may happen this week. We are going to end your reading with some words of wisdom. All right, ending your reading, pile 2, with some words of wisdom. Oh, okay. Okay, so the two cards we had fly out are: my faith has the power to turn trauma into healing. conflict into growth, and fear into love. And again, with the two moons. My energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. Okay, y'all. And this is your reading. So thank you so much for reading with me. I appreciate y'all so much. If you would like your own personal reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. Let me know how this week is for you. Let me know how this reading resonates. If you haven't already listened to the January collective reading, part 1 and 2 are out on Substack, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. If you aren't already following me on YouTube, follow me on YouTube, follow me on TikTok and Instagram, all at Tiny Divinations. And thank you so much again for reading with me. I appreciate y'all so much. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in our next reading. Welcome in, pile 3. Let's get into your cards. So, the charm you have is a horse. Then we have the Page of Knives, the Rights card or the Hermit, the Four of Coins, and the Sun. And it's funny, every pile has gotten the Sun in some deck or iteration. Okay, so there's a heavy energy this week for you, pile 3, of like honing in, reviewing information, paying attention to things, like really sifting through shit, sitting with it within yourself, looking at things with your mind's eye, not just like with your physical eye, like that's a heavy part of this energy this week with the Page of Knives and the owl on there, and the rights card, which is traditionally the hermit card. As you can see, like she has these bubbles in front of her, these orbs, which to me is almost like the connection going out or the connection going in. It could go either way. You have the infinity sign, which also to me like leads to like that flow of information and connection. But needing to like be in a certain space or a certain mindset, excuse me, to be able to tap into that or to be able to receive that. And then again, the owl with the energy of like really like focusing, paying attention, sitting still, um like watching, reviewing something, that's kind of the energy that these two cards give me. Also, not making quick decisions. Like I said, sitting with yourself in terms of what you're going to do, sitting with the information, giving it time before you actually like are actionable or move on something or make a decision on something, especially if that has to do with money or with finances or with like something to do with your security. Like I said before, there's this energy of not just going off of what you think or you see or you hear, but going with what you feel, going with what is in your like inner sight, going with what you're being told by like your guidance or, what you receive in like meditative state, things like that. You know what I mean? Like being literally more mindful. You know what I mean? You also have the 4 here, and with the 4 it gives the energy of people thinking about money, your relationship with money, how you look at money, how you deal with money, how you spend your money, and like a deeper way. Not like, I feel like a couple of weeks ago or last week, one of the readings we did for the week, we talked about people like wanting to budget more and stuff like that. But like this feels like more like your emotional relationship to money or your relationship to, excuse me, like what you think about it or what you feel about it or where you cap yourself or like what you were told that you can have or what you were told you deserve, or like the idea that you can only have money if you work super hard for it, and like now that's the concept that you've always worked off, so that's why you work extra hard, or you know what I mean, like that I feel like is also part of the energy that comes up this week for some people. um and like a, there this with the sun card on like a separate note just has to do with people um thinking about like what it would look like to actually be in a secure financial place, what it would look like to be in a different emotional space with money, what it would look like to have a different understanding of money and finances, and to be able to like apply that to your life, or to be able to like share that with your children, or share that with the rest of your family or your friends, and be able to like actually grow something from that. So like that's also a part of what's on your mind, or like part of the energy that I'm getting from these cards. So this is what we're getting from the cards. Let's pull some charms to see a little bit more into the energy for this week. All right, y'all. So this is my charm bowl. I'm going to shake it a little bit. Okay. I don't look in when I pull. Okay. So we have the Chariot. Bring our horse back over. We have a heart. We have the eye. And we have the dragon. You have the Chariot and the horse, and I feel like I said, this is a week where things could, like, you could do something to set something in motion. It doesn't necessarily feel like there's a lot of things going on this week, and that's why these are coming out. But it's like you could do something to set something in motion. You could see what's happening. You know, you could like figure out a situation, or kind of see what's happening. Or like it feels like it feels like it almost feels like where you like are just watching clues and like piecing shit together, you know, and like this leading you to here and this leading you to there, and just like being able to see something for what it is, or figure something out, and like have all the pieces to the puzzle so that you can see something, you know, so that you can like go forward with it. The Chariot and the eye give me that. The horse as well, but like it's like moving to be able to see things more clearly, so that you can be able to make decisions, or so that you can be able to know how to plan going forward, or to move going forward, or to like deal with this situation, or to deal with this person, or something like that. Like it's part of how this comes up to me. We talked about I talked a lot about seeing things with your third eye, or like reviewing things and paying attention. So like what you see is going to be key for you this week in terms of the energy, right? Pay attention to what you see. Don't question or second guess what you think that you saw. Okay. Be mindful of um like be mindful of being seen, in a sense. Like just sit back and let shit happen. You don't necessarily, if you see something, you don't have to, hey, well, I saw that you did this, I was, no, sit back and see what happens. Like watch, you know what I mean? Pay attention, collect your notes, write shit down if you need to, document shit if you need to, if it's a situation where you need to document some shit to like, again, come back to whatever it is later, or to put the shit in motion, or if this is what you need to put some shit in motion, you know what I mean? Like pay attention to that, especially if you are somebody who is like going through a breakup or a divorce, and you need some kind of evidence or some shit like that. Like you need to know that he's cheating, or you need to know, like, again, pay attention, document shit. Don't make yourself too known, don't make it too obvious what you're doing. And like just sit back and watch it. Like, but this is in situations like that. That's very specific. You know what I mean? And with the dragon pendant, it just feels like you have to be very decisive about the shit that you're doing this week. You have to kind of like stand up for yourself and be about your business, and like move from a position of like power, like quiet power, ultimate power. I know I could tear shit down. I know I could, like, you know, blow shit up, but I don't necessarily have to move that way. You know, if you can blow fire out of your face, you have to, then you don't have to be. I mean, dragons can just tear down anything, but like in terms of a person, if that's a figurative dragon, right? We should be mindful of what we burn down, what we set on fire, what we, attack in a sense. And when we attack it, in some cases that's to have the best positioning. In some cases that's to be able to get all the information first before you just go attacking some shit, and then like you kill somebody something before you got inside the castle or something. You know what I'm saying? This is figurative, but like y'all get what I'm trying to say. Like you get what I'm trying to say. So like this is what I'm getting from the cards and the charms for this week. Let's get into some specific things that may happen this week. Real quick before we move on, I also wanted to say for some people, be mindful of your spending this week or like overspending. Make sure that you can make it to the end of the month or to the next paycheck, or, like budget your money this week for some people. Like, look ahead, think ahead, and like plan ahead with your money so that you're like making good decisions with what you have now. Okay. Okay. So, getting into some specific things that may happen this week. Okay, relationship change, music, forgiveness. See if there's anything else. Financial discipline. Okay. And let's get some clarifiers from a few of these. Okay, so we have relationship change, music, forgiveness, financial discipline, and then we have our clarifiers for relationship change, King of Swords, Nine of Swords reversed, and the Five of Wands reversed. And then we have our clarifiers for forgiveness, the Eight of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, and the Judgment card. So, in terms of specific things that may happen this week, I'm just going to start up here with these two. Music may play a significant role in your week. You may be finding new music. You may be working on music. You may be somebody that is like a producer or something like that. So, you're working on like helping somebody else with their track or like making a beat or making music. You may be a singer. You may be like going to write this week. You may be a rapper or somebody, or like, if you're an artist, you may be doing something artistic, going in the booth, laying something down, writing this week, thinking about going back to your music, thinking about an album or like collaborating or like something music related, if you're not an artist, like I said, you may be like finding new music or a new artist you like this week. You may be like really deep into listening to a lot of music this week. Music may be helping your mood. You may be like using music to enhance your days, or like using it to help um, bring a certain type of energy into your days or what you're doing, or like specifically if you're doing something specific, you know what I mean, to get you through that. You may find yourself singing more this week, so like that's where this may come up in terms of specifics, or music may just like help you out in a way this week. And then we had the financial discipline, and like I talked to y'all before about, this week, just be mindful of budgeting, be mindful of planning, be mindful of being able to get yourself to your next paycheck, be mindful of what you may need, that you don't know about or you're not thinking of. Just like don't spend so crazy or freely. Be a little bit more frugal this week, be a little bit more decisive about where you're putting what so that you're not feeling it at the end of the week, or you're not feeling it next week, or you're not finding yourself in a bind or in a pinch. Okay. Now, get into these two cards. We have relationship change with, like I said, the King of Swords, the Nine of Swords reversed, and the Five of Wands. So, starting with this specifically, there are people that it feels like you're taking more of your power in a way. You're taking more um, like action over your decisions, or onus over like what you feel and what you want or what you don't want and things like that. You're taking more of a stand for yourself, especially in situations where there are relationships where you're feeling or you've been feeling like upset, despondent, emotional, depressed, not fulfilled, like shit isn't working, like fearful of what the future could look like. You're not sure what comes next. You feel just like not great about it, and or um you're not going in the right direction. You're not seeing eye to eye. There's a lot of fights, there's a lot of bullshit, there's a lot of conflict, there's a lot of wanting different things, or like feeling like you're each other's enemy. And this can be within a romantic relationship, this could be within a familial relationship, this could be within a friendship, but like there's just like this energy of there being this clash. And it feels like I said, the person that's watching this is then finally just taking a stand to like be bigger, be better, cut this shit, move on. Let the persons know how you want to be treated, how you will not be treated, what the fuck is up now. You know what I mean? Like, this is where I stand, this is what's happening. Like, it's that kind of energy. Okay. So like that feels like something specific that may definitely come up this week, where you're just over it. Like, it's like, something changes either in the way in which you treat each other, or the way in which they treat you or you treat them, and or it changes because it like ends. The way that it looks changes, the way that it's structured, you know what I mean, changes. It ends or it changes. So that's part of what comes up this week. And then this may or may not be related, right? But then you have forgiveness with this Eight of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, and the Judgment card. So this also felt like very specific, like some a very specific situation, or like a very specific like energy or thing, so like anyway, it feels like with the forgiveness cards, there are people that have situations where you um are trying to forgive and or apologize for something that like went wrong, in terms of, it feels like you and someone or something didn't work out in the way that it was supposed to, or somebody didn't give you, like, if you lent somebody money, they never paid you back, or somebody told you that they would help you with something, and the situation didn't pan out the way that it was actually supposed to, and they didn't actually help you, and they didn't give you or help you or get you into where you were supposed to, right? Or there's a situation where you were like, there was something where it was like collaborative, because both of these feel collaborative, and then it like they didn't help you, or it didn't work, or you felt kind of betrayed, or the shit felt imbalanced in some kind of way. And so now you're either wondering if you can trust the person, or you're wondering if you should forgive the person. And it's like very like, we're either going to be cool or we're not. Like, there doesn't feel like a lot of in between, you know what I mean? And even within the forgiveness, if we're not, it's like, well, I need to just get over the situation. Like, I need to come to terms with what happened and let it go so I can move on. Or again, I need to come to terms and like, be okay with what happened, say what I need to say so that we don't get there again, and then move on. You know what I mean? So like, this was very specific, but that's kind of what I was getting from this. Like, it definitely feels like a very specific situation, or like geared towards somebody very specific who's watching. So I would love to know what the hell I'm talking about, but this is what I'm getting for specific things that may happen this week. We are going to end your reading with some words of wisdom. Okay, so ending with your words of wisdom. When I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. When I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. And then you have hope is a conduit for miracles. Okay, y'all, that is your reading pile 3. Thank you so much for reading with me. I appreciate y'all so much. Let me know how your week is. If you'd like your own reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. If you aren't already listening, listen to our podcast. We have part 1 and 2 of the January Collective out now on Substack, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. If you aren't already following the YouTube channel, follow me here on TikTok, on Instagram at Tiny Divinations. And like I said, let me know how the reading resonates for you. Let me know how your week is. Definitely comment and let me know how the messages hit. And thank you again for reading with me. I appreciate y'all so much. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in our next reading.